no street addresses, and
What you mean you have no street addresses? How the hell do you know where you're going?
no zoos managed to be the happiest place on Earth. Well, they figured you don't need war to find peace, don't need numbers to find your place, and you don't live around nature.
So how do you know where you're going? Like, how do you know where you live? If there's like, do you just know like from the scenery? Actually, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Because that's how I kind of like, I'm not very good with streets. Like, I know a couple streets, but I'm not good with streets. I'm more good with like landmarks. Not like actual landmarks, but like specific buildings that in my head are like landmarks that know the general area of where I am.
You merely adopt her pace.
Oh, look at cute animals. What are they, monkeys? What's that? Oh, that's like a... Fuck, what is that? Like a... What was that?
Costa
I
Rica
like that one.
changes you. It's regularly listed in the top 5 of happiest places on Earth, and in
That's
2019, it was actually
beautiful.
voted number
That was
1.
beautiful.
It's also where you go to find animals you swear nature came up with that day. Did you know Costa Rica holds 6% of Earth's entire biodiversity, while only holding 0.3% of the real estate? 6% of Earth is like 2 Russias, and Costa Rica fits that in a country smaller than West Virginia. It's an animal lover's dream, so safe to say, Costa Rica ruined my life in the best possible way. I was invited by Ted Countdown. Yeah, that Ted. We'll get back to that. And that led to some consequences. First was the fact that living in New Jersey meant my first point of contact after Costa Rica was Newark Airport, and all I'm gonna say is there's a reason SpongeBob has an entire episode on that. The other is that one cannot simply go to Costa Rica and just be content with sitting back at home. The same way a toxoplasma parasite turned a third of the world into cat people, something in Costa Rica's air gives you straight wanderlust and makes you want to see as much of the rest of the world as possible. It's hard to explain if you haven't been there, so here's some Costa Rican animals that'll change your brain chemistry, because you know a country's on something when they have their own honey badger. Can you believe you've made it this far without knowing about the greater grisson? A stretch weasel rocktail replica most people have never seen. A miscellaneous mustelid feared by an entire country. At least it would be, if only it was bigger than a ferret. Just one of the many animals that prove Costa Rica's a simulation. A kindergartner's canine caricature came to life and it's called a bush dog. You're forgiven if this DLC dog you've never seen. They weren't discovered in Costa Rica until 2017. They had set up cameras for 12 years.
That's dope. That's crazy. So they must have been living in Costa Rica from time unknown to everybody. That's crazy.
And this was the first picture they got. It's a semi-aquatic corgi that's so short it needs a handstand to pee and mark territory. Their closest relative is that, and in packs, a band of bush dogs can take down a tapir. That's a tapir, basically a boneless rhino, also called the gardeners of the forest because they help
say it
spread
looks like an
seeds for
elephant.
it. It's the national animal of Belize. It's the biggest animal in Costa Rica you'll see, and they are a personal comfort animal to me. Also, allegedly, they eat people's dreams, at least in Japanese mythology, which inspired a Pokemon. The agouti is another
That's
sea
who it looks like. I knew it looked like a Pokemon.
and in size, they're somewhere between an economy capybara and a guinea pig. Clearly, they inherited the goodwill, and as someone who's been here, this is likely the first animal you'll see. The agouti is even a friend to trees, since their habit of burying and reburying seeds may have saved some trees from extinction, making them the squirrels of a country that already has them. And if you love squirrels, you'll love what the rich coast has to offer, specifically the variegated squirrel and all the colors they come in. There's 15 subspecies of this alternative squirrel, and 7 are in Costa Rica.
This one looks dope. Almost reminds me of a German Shepherd.
In fact, feel free to pause this video and let me know which squirrel is you. The armored rat is another rodent that looks even more like a Pokemon, thanks to the namesake of defensive spines meant to ward off predators. So it's reassuring to know I don't apply, because to me it does the opposite. Leave a comment if you knew about this rat, so I can reply and call you a liar. Ah, jump scare! Just kidding, it's just a water opossum. It's not the only marsupial found in Costa Rica. In fact, there's more than 10, like Derby's woolly opossum. But it is the only one with webbed feet, and also the only one where both the males and females have pouches, except males use theirs as a speedo to protect the McNuggets while swimming. Now it should be no surprise that a country out of this world has a Jesus lizard. The basilisk got a street name because when the going gets tough, this lizard turns water into a runway. Now granted, these animals are pretty difficult to find, but what you will see is a coati, which is not a moonwalking dinosaur, but a raccoon cousin that'll steal your heart along with anything else not nailed down. Now with Costa Rica, one bird won't make your trip. but 2 can. There's 6 types of toucans in Costa Rica, and they all have a secret. They want you to think they're a parrot, but I see through them. That's a rebranded woodpecker on steroids. The macaw might be the only bird arguably more iconic. You never forget the first time you find wild macaws flying above your head, and it's the first time I've personally seen an animal glow red. But also special shout out to the critically endangered great green macaw, with less than 1,000 left. And as unfortunate as that is, you've definitely seen a macaw or toucan before. Let me know when you clock a resplendent quetzal. Definitely a life-altering bird to see, and every bird watcher's wet dream. You know, I don't even count the years since I was born, I just count how much birds excite me. So safe to say, the resplendent quetzal makes me feel my age. So does the king vulture. Now you know me, I love all vultures, but you also know a country has aura when even the scavengers are out here getting fits off. I love me some king vulture. How could the drip be denied? Now every bird's beautiful, but if you had to ask who I think is the flyest, I wouldn't say them. They kinda scare me. Montezuma or a pendula. I definitely didn't just need an excuse to say that. Costa Rica's ethereal if you love birds.
Looks like a bowling ball, look at that.
Now every bird
Oops.
is beautiful, but if you had to ask who I think is the flyest, I wouldn't say them.
Right there, look at that. That shit looks like a bowling ball. That shit looks like you got a fucking kidney in your throat, my guy. Are you okay? Is that comfortable?
On your porch. The oncilla is a no more than 6-pound pint-sized predator and one of the smallest wildcats in the world. It looks like someone used AI to babyfy a puma, and this tiny tiger is a cat I'm betting a lot of y'all have never even seen. Yet, the same cat, also called tigorillo, has spawned on the porches of tourists. I'm not promising that you'll be visited by a silla if you come here, but the chances aren't zero. But what you probably won't see is a
So now I have a question. He said it's a wild cat, which means it hasn't been domesticated, which means people don't really have it as pets, right? But why? Because it's like, it's small enough. It's basically the size of a house cat. Like, it looks like it. So it's like, why has that cat not been domesticated?
Costa Rica's not short on cats, but ironically, it's the biggest cat that's the easiest to miss. The biggest cat in all the Americas was nearly wiped out completely in Costa Rica.
Is that
the biggest cause of jaguar deaths in the country by
Fuck you, man. I thought it would have been a panther.
far are retaliatory killings by farmers, which of course is a travesty. On the other side, realizing that a farmer's entire family gets set back thousands of dollars every time one loses a cow really puts that side in perspective. But it's how this conflict was dealt with that shows that Costa Rica really is one of one. At first, farmers were treated like villains, and those that lost livestock to big cats were offered zero solution, just a warning that they could not touch the jaguar. But more recently, there's been an active effort to coexist with the predators. Some compromises include biological corridors, untouched habitat highways that animals can.
That is dope. You see, this is what I'm, because look at it. Like, I feel like humans, like, humans necessarily technically run the world because, like, we're like, look at what we're doing. We're destroying habitats and all that shit. When we should be doing stuff like this, instead of trying to turn everything city-like, like, we should keep some areas nature. I get it. Cool. We need cities or whatever, right? Cool. But I think we should have some cities where that's already like, you don't see a lot of nature, whatever. And then have places like this where it's like this is like a road, like there's man-made stuff here. You could probably even put like a shopping area like somewhere along this road, but keep nature. Like, these are animals, like they were here before us, like.
Decision to shut down all its public zoos, instead opting to move animals to rehabilitation centers with the hope that those that are fit can be returned to the wild. This naturalist approach has led to Costa Ricans learning to coexist even alongside apex predators.